Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. My name is Richard Ojeda, and I'm the national spokesperson for No Dem Left Behind. Now, before I talk to you about what I believe in terms of why I support No Dem Left Behind so much, I want to give you a little bit of a background about myself. I spent 24 years in the United States military, and when I retired, I returned home. And what I found was people on the corners, all the local leaders that had their hands in the cookie jar. So I decided to challenge them. And basically 2 days before my state Senate race, I was lured away from a gathering under the disguise of friendship, and I was struck in the back of the head with a pipe. They rolled me over when I was unconscious and broke 8 bones in my face with brass knuckles. They knew that if I didn't die on that creek bank, I would be the next state senator. But 2 days later, I won my state Senate seat from the emergency room in Charleston Area Medical Center. Now, as a state senator, I made West Virginia the 29th state to become legalized for medical cannabis. And in 2018, it was my speech that lit the match on the teacher strike that spread across the country. So, I decided then that I was going to run for the United States House of Representatives. And people across the country liked my attitude, the way that I said the things that I say it, and that's the way that's how I feel. So basically, we raised $3 million in southern West Virginia, in one of the reddest rural districts in the country. So, we raised that money, and you know what? The tenacity, the desire, the drive that I believed in is what I see in each and every one of our candidates that we have here today. They are willing to go into Trump's backyard and pick a fight. And if we ignore red rural districts, we will never see them flip blue. So, when most politicians hear rural Democrat, they turn the switch off, but not No Dem Left Behind. No Dem Left Behind sees something in each and every one of our candidates. They represent people across this country that are looking to be heard and treated with respect. So thank you for joining us tonight. I want you to sit back, relax. We have some amazing celebrities, and we have some amazing candidates that we believe when you hear what they have to say, you're going to like what you hear. So as we fight, as the fight to prove rural Dems do exist, and that's what we're doing to make sure that our voices will be heard. Thank you very much. And now I want to turn it over to Deborah Messing, who's going to be interviewing Mia Mason.
Me? I did, and it says unable to start video. That's never happened before. The host has asked you to start your video. Okay, start my video. There it is. Hi, everybody. I'm Deborah Messing. Thank you for your patience. I am so excited to be here, and I'm thrilled that you are here. No Dem Left Behind is a coalition of Democrats running for Congress in rural America. That part we all know. But the reason why I'm so passionate about the work they're doing is because how they are campaigning. I'm a strong believer that we as Democrats can't just focus on the coastal cities. We need to speak to each and every single American. Anyone could go to San Francisco or New York or LA and bash Trump. But the candidates you will meet tonight, they are going into deep red Trump country, and they are talking to people who see Democrats as the enemy. We're living in two Americas right now, and we have to fix that. No Dem Left Behind is doing the hard work on the ground to do just that. I am supporting Biden and all Democrats across the country because we're in trouble. We have a pandemic with over 170,000 people lost. We have economic collapse, businesses closing, farms closing, unemployment numbers that are just devastating, but also because of the racism, homophobia, transphobia, and xenophobia. Every marginalized group is under attack. I had the privilege of being on Will and Grace, which helped celebrate the LGBTQ community, and I cannot stay quiet as I see murders and suicides in that community rise. I am so thrilled and honored to introduce Mia Mason, the first transgender vet to ever run for congressional office. She is running in Maryland's first congressional district, the only Republican district in the state. Mia served in the Army, Navy, and DC National Guard for 20 years. She spent 13 years at war in Afghanistan and Iraq, and even aided in relief efforts after Hurricane Katrina. But after 16 years of serving, she was forced out for simply being who she is. She fought for over a year just so she could continue to serve her country. She eventually won that fight and got to retire with dignity. After retiring from military, Mia started a small business, but just couldn't ignore that call to action. She started working with advocacy groups fighting for equal rights for all. She spoke at the Women's March in DC in 2018 and told the world her story. And then in 2019, decided she could make real change happen if she fought for it on the inside. She won an underdog primary with no staff and little resources, and is now fighting against one of the most anti-LGBT politicians in the country. Congratulations, Mia, on becoming the first transgender nominee for U.S. Congress. As a military veteran who has served over 20 years, how did you react to Trump's ban on transgender people entering the military?
I was completely upset. It was one of the hardest things I had to face in my life. You know, I lost my job, I lost my car, I lost my home back in 2015 before even Trump took office. And I definitely didn't want that to happen to anybody else in the entire country. It was just one of those things that I just couldn't handle. So I called reporters day in and day out, and I got on the news and I told people we cannot allow this to happen at all in our country because I knew it was going to affect our families.
What are you doing to fight for veterans and the transgender community within your campaign?
Well, we are making sure that we still lobby for things like the ERA and make sure that the military ban gets lifted. If we actually have to wait till November 3rd and for me to get in office in January, I definitely want to make sure that we get it taken care of in the first 100 days because we are no dim left behind.
Thank you so much, Mia, for all you have done to serve our country and all you will do in the future. You are an inspiration. You have all of our support. And now I am kicking it back to Richard Ojeda, our fantastic moderator.
Thank you.
Oh, can you? I'm trying to see my video again. Can you see me? Okay, here I am.
Right.
Thank you very much, Deborah. We really appreciate you guys taking the time to be here and speak with our amazing candidates. We really appreciate that. Now, I would like to bring up our next celebrity host, and that is Brooklyn Dad is going to be speaking to Tom Palzewicz.
Hello, everybody. Can you guys see me? All right. Hey, folks, it's Brooklyn Dad here, and I'd like to introduce you all to Tom Palzewicz, who is running in Wisconsin's 5th Congressional District, a pivotal portion of Wisconsin, for the top of the ticket this November. Tom is a family man, he's a veteran, he's a local business owner, and he's serving southeastern Wisconsin. His call to action was when he saw the heightened partisanship and lack of representation taking place in our political system, especially in Wisconsin. Hello? Uh-oh. He felt he needed to give the people of Wisconsin a real alternative to the stagnant status quo and entered politics in 2018. Integrity, honesty, and decency guide his campaign. He's a champion of common sense gun control, bringing attention to the existential threat of climate change and affordable, accessible health care. In a time of division, Tom represents how we can reach across the aisle to put progress over partisanship. Tom, Wisconsin is widely regarded as the tipping point state in the 2016 election, meaning that was the state with the tightest race that Clinton or Trump had to win in order to win the entire election. How are we going to make sure that Wisconsin flips blue for Biden this November?
Yeah, great question. There's a couple of ways that's going to happen. Starts with getting out the vote in Milwaukee and Madison, because the thing about Wisconsin is that's where most of the Democrats live. Our district is right in between those two areas. So the fantastic part about it is after the election in 2016, it really lit a fire under people. indivisible groups, grassroots groups, Moms Demand Action groups popped up. And what happened is we were able to flip about 24,000 votes in 2018. So as we enter 2020, we've already flipped enough votes to at least make the state even. And our goal is to flip another 40,000 so that not only I win my race, but we get Joe Biden in the White House, which to me is incredibly important because otherwise November 4th, we pull out of that Paris Climate Accord.
Steve, that is crucial. And what are you and your campaign doing in your community to fight for a blue wave?
Yeah, we're actually working up and down the ticket. So we've been able to get a whole bunch of other candidates out for the state assembly. Wisconsin's one of the most gerrymandered states in the country, and we've been able to get some assembly people running. We've got state senators running in areas that have been traditionally very red, where it's so gerrymandered that most people don't even try. So, and we've all been working together, and it's been a fantastic movement. We've had people from Illinois show up. We've had a whole bunch of other people from around the country say, we're going to help you, Wisconsin, because everybody knows it's coming down to Wisconsin and it's coming down to the 5th Congressional District. So just want to end with, we are no Dem left behind.
Awesome. Thank you, Tom.
Thanks.
Okay, we'll hop back over here. Once again, Brooklyn Dad, thank you very much for taking the time to be with us here tonight. Next up is Kristen Johnston, who's going to be speaking to our candidates down in Florida, Alan Ellison, Cindy Banyai, and Adam Christensen. So, Kristen, the floor is yours.
Myself. There we go. Hello. Hey, I'm really excited to be here tonight. Thank you so much for asking me to join you guys. It's such an important thing we're doing. Okay, so I'm excited to introduce you guys to 3 candidates. One is Alan Ellison, Cindy Banyai, and Adam Christensen. And I hope I say everything right. Okay, I worked on this afternoon. So they're all 3 from Florida. First, we have Alan Ellison from Florida's 17th Congressional District, who in October of 2018 became the Democratic nominee for the U.S. House of Representatives by claiming a 52% victory over numerous contenders during the special primary election. And then during the general election, he faced an experienced and well-known incumbent senator who had served 3 terms in the Florida Senate. In that race, Alan won 40% of total votes, which was remarkable because his campaign was last minute. Now he's the returning Democratic nominee running for a full-fledged campaign to unseat the incumbent Trump Republican. Okay, number 2, we have Dr. Cindy Banyai. She's running as a representative in Florida's 19th Congressional District. She received her PhD from Ritsumeikan Asian Pacific University in Japan, where her research focused on community development, public administration, evaluation, and governance. She has made her career in public administration and community development, through which she focused on lifting the voice of the people in her community to be on the same level as CEOs and government officials. Wouldn't that be nice? Okay, so she's running to bring the voice of the people of Southwest Florida to Washington. Go, Cindy. And then last but not least, we have Adam Christensen, who is raised in Palm Harbor, Florida. He later attended Hampden-Sydney College in Virginia as a 3-sport athlete, obtaining a degree in biology. Following college, Adam decided to move back to Florida, and he started his first company with $3,000 in his pocket. 2 years later, he and his business partner started a second company, and both companies are still operating in Gainesville, Florida. Having grown up a Republican in a deep red state, that sounds familiar to me, and being a small business owner himself, he witnessed firsthand what can happen to communities hit hardest by financial greed. He is running to represent Florida's 3rd Congressional District in the U.S. House of Representatives. Welcome, the 3 of you. Okay, I have a couple questions for you guys. Just jump in whenever you have an answer. I'm going off script for the first question because I'm dying to know, what impact has the Trump administration had in your districts that you've seen over the last 4 years?
We have so much coronavirus here. It's crazy. The effect that we see of the complete lack of leadership.
Adam, do you have any thoughts you want to add?
You know, the biggest thing, I'm running in Ted Miller's district. I'm trying to flip his seat. And the biggest thing that we have really seen is just the amount of people that have lost hope. They don't believe that their lives will ever get better, and they don't believe that anyone is ever going to come and save them. And right now we have an opportunity with everything that is going on to be able to show them that, look, we are there for you. We care about whether or not you live or die, and we have solutions that will actually make our lives better.
Fantastic. Mr. Ellison, any thoughts you want to add about the Trump administration's impact?
Yes, I agree with Cindy and Adam. The Trump administration has done a lot to bring about an awakening in our district, in our state. But I think the turning point was whenever Russia basically put bounties on the heads of our soldiers in Afghanistan, and the Trump administration did nothing about it. I think a lot of the Republicans are looking at this as if he has basically gone way off the rails. And so we're starting to see a lot of Republicans come over to our way because they want a new path forward. And I'm happy to be that candidate to help them understand that the Democratic Party has always been about improving the quality of life, as well as making sure that people have what they need. And right now we need more in the face of this pandemic.
Yeah, absolutely. Great answers, all three of you. Thank you. As we all know, Florida is a huge state that's up for grabs this year. So I'm curious with the three of you, how has partnering with No Dem Left Behind, this coalition, how has it affected your campaign?
Well, I would say this, the best part about working with these amazing leaders with No Dem Left Behind is the camaraderie that we've been able to build. The knowledge base and foundation of policy that we've been able to learn from one another, because everyone has a different background, but being able to learn from one another and share resources, share technology, and help get our messages out there, that has been really great. And I'm very grateful to be a part of the No Dem Left Behind coalition.
Fantastic. Dr. Banye?
Yeah, thanks for taking all the but no, it's exactly that. It's this connection, and honestly, idea that we can do it. We are not just orphan red districts, which is how sometimes we're portrayed. Mm-hmm. We hope, we lift each other up, and we are so, as well as fantastic supporters from all over the country, just like you, Kristen. So thank you.
Of course. Adam, any thoughts?
Yeah, I think for me, the biggest thing that No Dem Left Behind has really shown is that we are not in this alone. I would be the youngest candidate ever elected to Congress. Our entire staff is under the age of 23.
Oh, I love that. That's so cool.
As we were going through our primary and it was ending, on Twitter, we had every single candidate that is here who was blasting us and saying, look at this, like this is a nail biter, cheering for us. And honestly, that's what's going to push us all through this, is if we actually believe that we can win, that we can do this, and we actually have each other's backs. And I think that is something that No Dem Left Behind is showing, is that Democrats, no matter where you are, matter. And we are going to fight for it.
And certainly this whole administration has really created a huge new generation. I don't mean just young people, but a huge new wave of people who are now passionate about politics. And so I'm so honored to meet three of you guys tonight. I think it's fantastic.
Well, at the end of the day, all of us believe that we don't have any other choice. We have to do this.
Yes,
we don't
I agree. Yes, I'd rather be getting my nails done right now, but no, I'm just kidding. Okay. So last but not least, I have one last question for you guys. It's sort of a two-parter, but what are you guys as candidates doing to ensure that Florida flips blue? And last, what do you guys need in your campaigns other than financial help? What kind of help could we give you to help you guys turn it blue? Mr. Ellison, you want to start?
Well, I was going to let Cindy go because
sorry, go Cindy.
Okay, well, because I'm actually so passionate about this too. One of the things that are, when you have grassroots candidates, me, right? I'm a single mom. I'm just out here trying to make me, and I'm passionate about changing that don't have necessary resources as grassroots candidates that we need. And what we need to do is together. So I've actually spent a lot of my time building coalitions around this state with other Democrats. I launched an called Flip Florida Blue Candidates. It's a resource for candidates. It's a resource for the public. I've partnered with other down ballot candidates to help each other and lift each other up. That is going to fight the money in politics from the other side. That is what is. And from that, like my passion in coalitions, what we need from folks is we and check us out. We need you to join our events. We need you to share our social media and tweet as much as you can. And then, also do home banking, the tweeting, all of that stuff, or the texting, that stuff really matters. We can put in outwork, and then I know we're going to flip Florida blue.
So I got lost a couple of your words there, but you were saying that the social media aspect is really helpful for you guys as your campaign. Yeah. So if people are watching from home and they're on Twitter, they could always retweet and share your videos and stuff like that. So got it. And there's Cindy. There's your. Is that your website?
That's my retweet.
Oh, okay. Okay. That's what the cool kids are doing.
Well, that's what I'm doing. I don't know if I'm cool, but that's what I'm.
Well, I'm as big a dork as you'll ever meet. Okay. Anybody else? Adam or Mr. Allison?
Yes, one of the things that we're doing, because I have the largest congressional district in the state. It covers 9 counties. And so we have 30 down ballot Democratic candidates that are working diligently to try and flip their seats as well. So what we've done is we've built a coalition. We put together a dedicated team of data analysts as well as writers to help not only my campaign, but every campaign inside of the congressional district of 17. And the thing that we need more than anything is we need writers, because we're getting our writers group to register with Daily Kos as well as Medium, because he who controls the media controls the people. And we want to get our message out for all of the candidates inside of District 17 and District 19 and in Adams' race as well. And so we need those that have writing tech capabilities. We need influencers who can control the masses on social media to get the message out. And we just need a lot of help in terms of people that are concerned to just get involved and help people get registered to vote.
That's fantastic. So if you're a writer and you're in Florida and you look, it's a pandemic, everybody's quarantined, reach out to one of these candidates. They could use your help. That's fantastic. I love that idea. How about you, Adam?
Yeah, I'll just run through it real quick. For those who don't know, next year's redistricting, which means we have to flip the Florida House and we have to flip Florida this year, or else Democrats are going to be in trouble for the next 10 years. So what multiple groups have done is make sure that we have a House district candidate running in every single House district in Florida, which has never happened before. 90 for 90 and the Democratic Environmental Caucus of Florida were the main pushers of that. On top of that, we have made sure that we have built coalitions with every single House district candidate running in our congressional district. Because the better that they do, the better that they cut the margins, the better that we do. And the better that we do in our area, over all of it, the better Joe Biden is going to do in November. If we are able to, especially District 3, we have a huge Hispanic and Latino population that has never been reached. We have a huge amount of people that have just never been reached because nobody has got to talk to them or wanted to talk to them. And if we are able to cut them off even slightly in our district, Florida flips. And at the end of the day, the way that you can help is we need phone bankers. We need an army of volunteers. We need people that are willing to actually get out and talk to them. And so every single candidate here, they have those capabilities. But on top of that, we need that. So we are building a grassroots army to put in the work, because if we put in the work, it will happen. We may be outgunned, we may be outspent, but we only have to be outspent 3-1. If we have that army, we win.
That's fantastic. Listen, you guys are, I honestly feel like if you guys win, our country's in really good hands. Well, definitely Florida. So good luck to you guys. And thank you for having me be a part of it. You guys were fantastic.
We are no dumb.
Well, good evening, everybody. Richard lost a little bit of power, but we're going to get him back on. And to kick it off, we're going to kick it off with a segment from Breitbart News with Brent. So if you can't, just turn off all of your video and we'll get that started, okay? All right, Richard, welcome back. Go ahead and say what you need to.
Well, what do we have here? A bunch of Holly weird elite and some Democrats. You know, I just seen on Fox News that you were going to be here tonight raising money for No Democrat Left Behind. And as somebody from the great state of Indiana, the Hoosier state, the home of the presidential ride or die chick himself, Mike Pence, I figured I'd drop by and give you a pep talk, some words of encouragement, maybe some advice. And that's what I would be doing had you not hated my president, and still your president, by the way, Donald J. Trump. You people are starting to fog up my Oakleys. What on flat earth did this man ever do to you? Except for send you $1,200 Donnie dollars to spend however you like. That's just like a bunch of liberal Democrats to be ungrateful to your tangerine savior. You make me sick. A bunch of blue dots in red states. That's like being the only onion ring in an order of fries that don't make sense. And how are you Democrats in the first place? I seen the states you live in. You got a 2-gun minimum at best. And I didn't even want to be here tonight. I was trying to get on the RNC for next week, but apparently I didn't go viral enough for the wrong reasons. So now I'm stuck with you people, but at least at the RNC they wouldn't make me wear a mask like I'm sure you people would if we were in person. You masketeers, you flu world order. A mask ain't nothing but a barrier for your face, and everybody knows barriers don't work unless they're at our southern border. But you know damn well them germs will just climb over the top of that mask or tunnel underneath. Because a mask ain't nothing but a wall for your face, and everybody knows walls don't work unless they're at our southern border. But I've been thinking, which I rarely do, but I've been thinking, and I figured out your problem. You've been watching too much liberal, lamestream media like the Washington Compost and the fake news CNN. I'm here to tell you that all that is bad for your brain. That's why I watch Fox News, because how could it be bad for your brain if you don't got one in the first place? But I digest. It's against my better judgment to do this today, but you people are going to need all the help you can get. So I'm going to raise my emotional support beer to you in hopes that you'll learn to love your spray tan in chief just a little bit. Now, if you'll excuse me, I just got 4 brand new Goodyear tires delivered, and I'm going to set them on fire just to show Goodyear who's boss, and I might even roast a can of Goya beans on top if I don't pass out first. Now, get off my Zoom call.
Hi, everyone. I'm Piper Parabo, and I'm so happy to be joining you this evening and supporting No Dem Left Behind. This is exactly what our country needs right now, and together we can prove that rural Democrats do exist. I'm so excited to introduce you to congressional candidates who are part of the No Dem Left Behind coalition. Natalie Klein, Lindsay Simons, and Dr. Gary Wegman. They're all fighting for real change in some of the reddest districts in the United States. Lindsay Simons is running for Congress in the 4th District of Missouri, where she grew up on a small family farm, saved up her tip money to apply to Harvard Law School. She's been working as an attorney on behalf of veterans, the wrongfully incarcerated, environmental stakeholders, and domestic abuse survivors ever since. She's married to a currently deployed pilot for the U.S. Army and mom to a 2-year-old rambunctious boy. When the White House made decisions that negatively affected her military community and family, Lindsay reached out to her congresswoman, to be ignored. Now she stepped up to run for office, and when elected, will be the first spouse of an active duty soldier elected to Congress ever. Gary has dedicated his life to serving his community, as a dentist, as a farmer, and as a father and husband. He was raised on a 5th-generation working family farm in Berks County, where he learned to live the values of hard work, fair play, and equality. As one of the few medical professionals running for Congress, Gary knows our healthcare system inside and out. Gary is running for Congress because the people of Pennsylvania need someone to serve their needs. Gary is willing to take the tough stances necessary to move our country forward and elevate our regions and our communities. Gary will bring real solutions to the halls of Congress on behalf of all the constituents of Pennsylvania's 9th Congressional District. Natalie Klein is running in her home state of West Virginia, fighting for health care, jobs, West Virginians' kids. Natalie works as a computational linguist and is using her STEM background to create policy proposals that would help rural regions across America to offer opportunities that work for our youth as they enter into adulthood. She's a strong advocate for our kids and families, proposing legislation that not only offers better health care, but gives people better access to the services that they need. As West Virginia sits in the epicenter of the opioid crisis, Natalie will work every single day to bring family wage-paying jobs back to her district and give our kids back their childhood.
All right. Is Richard here?
Yes.
Go ahead. Ask the questions for Piper.
Who's asking the questions for Piper?
You.
I don't have the questions for Piper.
All right.
I will gladly take both of these candidates and interview them if you like.
Go ahead, Rosie. Take the lead. Thank you.
Hi, you guys. How are you?
Excellent, Rosie. Thanks for stepping up.
Good. Could you guys tell me, like, each of you, like, in 3 sentences that's not written by your staff, why you're running? Just tell me why you're doing it. You're first, Lindsay. Go.
I'll go first. I'm running because my husband is a currently deployed soldier with a bounty on his head, and the president doesn't want to do shit about it.
Excellent reason, Lindsay. Natalie, why?
I'm running because my husband and I both grew up in this district in West Virginia, down the street from our grandparents. And when we had our son, when he was 2 years old, we chose to move back here because we wanted him to be raised with the same West Virginia values and roots. And I cannot sit idly by and be expected to look him in his eyes when he's 18 years old and tell him I can do anything to make the future better for his generation and the state.
Completely understandable and very noble. I'm glad you're doing it. And Dr. Gary Wegman, tell me a little bit about you and why you're here.
Our constituents, Rosie, deserve representation from somebody who understands their values. They're tired of the politics of division and gridlock, and I intend on being a unifier in Washington, D.C.
Excellent. How tough a battle do you each have? Natalie, how hard is the climb for you? What's your district like?
So I am running against a 5-term Republican incumbent who basically just has to wake up and he will get more corporate PAC money deposited into his account. I have never taken a dime from a corporate PAC, and I never will. I will not be that person who, sells out to the lobbyists. My district covers 20 counties in West Virginia. So it's a very large district. And the interesting thing about it is voter registration is about equal amongst Democrats and Republicans. So it is about 40,000 Democrats who are actually reelecting him every 2 years. So our goal is to go to those Democrats and say, I see you, I hear you, and I am here to fight for you. Obviously, you're not connecting enough with the GOP to change your voter registration to Republican. Talk to me, listen to me. Our opponent has had a town hall in a decade, but we have.
Good, excellent. Lindsay, tell me, what do you most need from people? What would help most? Whoever's watching this already is on our side, right? We know all the statistics. It's a horror show. We're living through a nightmare. How can this be happening in America? And if we don't do it in 70-something days, America as we know it is over. And Obama told us that. He told us that just the other day. So we're all wanting to help. Lindsay, how can we help you?
What you can do for us is volunteer. We've done polling in this district. We know that when people hear our story about being an active duty military family that has suffered under this administration, for my little kiddo not having daycare because they took that to build a wall, we know that when people hear this story, it cuts across partisan lines, and we move this district to a place that is winnable. And so we need help with volunteers making phone calls for us, texting for us. And the great thing about that is you can do it no matter where you are. So please go to lindsaymsimmons.com and sign up to be one of our volunteers and help us, because if you do, we can win this.
Okay, and I'm adopting you three. Okay, I'm following you through this whole thing. I'm going to be on Zoom whenever you want me, and we'll talk to people. If that helps, if it doesn't help, you tell me another way that I can do something to help you. Gary, Dr. Gary, tell me, are you hopeful for the future? Is your mountain so high to climb that you can't even really wrap your mind around winning? Or do you honestly believe the country where it is, you can actually do this there?
Rosie, as difficult as it is to believe, the people who know me, Republicans, Independents, and Democrats, are all supporting my campaign. My heavy lift is getting my message out to all the counties within the 8 counties of the Pennsylvania 9th District. And that's where I need the help from No Dem Left Behind. For $500,000, I can win this race. But that may not seem like a lot of money where you raise $2 to $3 million in California congressional races, but it goes a long way here in Pennsylvania. Listen, as a farmer and a dentist, I understand the language of my constituents and how to speak it, and they're angry. They just need to understand that I will represent their needs in Washington, D.C., but they need a real representative, not a poser.
No, for sure. Well, I think I have more people to talk to. I don't know what the time limits actually were, but I wish you all strength. And, watching the convention really gave me hope. I mean, to say that it's been a challenge for people who suffer with, a lot of emotion, excess emotion, perhaps. It's been rough on me personally, man. Let's all deal with the truth. We need to see the end, all of us together, like in a musical, right? With the big finale number, do you hear the people sing? That's what I hope for all of us on Election Day. And we're going to put you up on my website and whatever I got that the people do. We'll do a TikTok if you like. We'll work it out.
Make it happen.
Right.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Okay, Rosie, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, I apologize. I actually lost complete power here. We're getting ready to have a pretty big storm, but I appreciate you basically stepping in here due to the hiccup that we had. But now what you're going to do is you're going to actually be speaking with Devin Pandy and Bear Walsingham. So take it.
All right. Now I got a sheet. Let's see where they are. They're not on my.
Yep.
Bye, you guys. Hi. Now they're going to come on.
Yep.
Yes. Hey, Devin.
Hello.
Hey, Blair. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Tell everybody who you are and what you do in 3 sentences. Why are you here doing this?
Well, I'm Blair Walsingham. I have 12 counties in the very, very rural East Tennessee, and I'm doing this because I'm tired of seeing people suffering. We deserve somebody who actually understands it, and that's me. I'm a veteran, a mother, a homesteader, and I understand what people are going through, and I bring solutions to meet these challenges.
How hard is the battle you're facing?
It's difficult, but when you're out talking to people, you realize you have so much more in common. When you ask people what do they need, you get the same answers over and over and over. So I focus on that.
What are those answers?
Do you want a better quality of life? Absolutely. Do you want healthcare? Yes, I do. Do you want your kids to have a good education and a future, job opportunity, to own your own home? All of those things.
Right. That's what you hear, and that's what we have to bring to the United States Congress. This is what we have to do. Devin, why are you here? What are you doing? What are you about? Tell me.
Well, as a 21-year veteran, I swore an oath to support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. Right now, our Constitution is being decimated, and I could no longer sit back enjoying my 6 years of retirement and watch as what I fought for 21 years and what some of my compadres never made it back from, to see that happening has motivated me to serve my country again. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. I am in this to restore honor and integrity to Congress.
Who are you in your personal life? Do you have a spouse? Do you have kids? What are you? What are you? Happily married man? Tell me a little about you.
Well, yes, I am an immigrant. I am a Black Hispanic Irishman, and I have 2 grown children. I have a fiance. We are going to have twins. They're not in the oven yet, but I'm manifesting it. And we are looking for our ranch right now. I plan to rescue horses, raise laying chickens, and own my own bee farm.
Wow, that sounds absolutely fantastic. And all this, and you want to go to Congress too. Blair, what's your number one issue if you had to say that there was one thing? What is the one thing that you can't get over that this administration has done?
It's not necessarily just this administration, but I see poverty as the biggest struggle that everybody is facing. I have too many people in my district who don't have good internet or quality jobs or internets even, but they don't have running water or electricity. They can't just meet their basic needs. And that to me is really unacceptable. And our current administration has completely ignored the needs of everybody out here. So we need people like myself and everybody in this coalition to get in and really address these.
Excellent. Devin, tell me, what's the one thing you were served our country, and my son is a Marine right now.
Thank him for his service.
And thank you for yours. And what would you say, is the future hold? What does the future hold? When you see yourself winning in this impossible district, everyone's going to help you. We're all going to help you as much as we can. You'll tell us what you need, and we'll hopefully be able to deliver it. And we're with you all the way. It's wonderful to meet people on this little thing tonight who I've texted with since he got in office, but I've never seen their face. So it's a beautiful kind of hopeful. It felt like the Democratic convention. But what did you feel during the Democratic convention, Devin?
Yes, I agree with you. I feel blessed to be here with No Dem Left Behind and with all of you who are sacrificing your time to help us to make this a better country. So thank you. I absolutely loved the DNC. It was amazing. From Michelle Obama, who is my idol, to Barack Obama, who is my idol. It was just wonderful to hear. To hear Michelle Obama so eloquently put why it is important that we vote for sanity. And then to hear a past president to actually say the things that he said about current president, it tells us so much. President Obama is so by the book when it comes to something like that. So if he decided that it was time for him to speak out, something is wrong.
And he had something to say, and what he said is,
he did.
We are on the precipice of existence. That's where we are, people, and this is real.
That is true.
They have to do all they can to get everyone they know to vote, to show up. What kind of support, Blair, would be the best for you right now in your campaign?
Well, we definitely can use funds. Though I'm in a very rural district, and like I mentioned before, many people here live in poverty, it is hard to fundraise, and then COVID-19 happened, and people are even worse off. So contributions are absolutely needed, but you can also volunteer, get the message out, share things. Social media is this wonderful world of opportunity that we have, like tonight, still being able to get together. So any little thing that you can do makes a huge difference.
Excellent. Yeah. Well, Devin and Blair, it's so nice to get to talk to you, and I'm so proud of the young people. I'm going to be 60 years old in 2 years. My kids say,
congratulations.
That's what I think. It's a big victory. And to see the youngsters like you standing up and fighting this atrocious administration. I don't know. It reminds me of like Star Wars. We got to get in there. Use the Force, Luke. We got to get rid of that guy, you know? Anyway, I'm proud of you, and keep doing what you do, and we will try to help you in every way we can, all of the people who are on tonight.
Well, Rosie, on behalf of all of our candidates, we absolutely, we are blessed that you took the time to sit here with us today. So thank you very much for taking care of the, and stepping up to the plate and working with our candidates. So now who we have is we actually have Mark Hamill, and Mark Hamill is going to be interviewing Rob Anderson. Thank you, Rosie.
Sure.
Hello there. Can you see me?
We're getting you.
Start my video. Here we are. There we are. Hi, everybody. It's Mark Hamill here. I'm here with Mary Lou, and we're so grateful to be a part of this No Dem Left Behind event. I don't know about you, but after the Democratic convention, I'm filled with great optimism and great hope because, every time they say this is the most important election of your lifetime, every election they say that, but never has it been more true than right now. And I think in Joe Biden, we have the exact right person at the right time in our history. No one could provide a bigger contrast than Joe Biden to the current occupant of the White House, all right? Where honesty is on the ballot, truthfulness is on the ballot, common human decency is on the ballot. Now, it's my honor to introduce today Rob Anderson, who's running for the U.S. House of Representatives in Louisiana's 3rd District. And I did my homework about Rob, which means I followed him on Twitter, and then I read about him on Wikipedia. And it's not surprising that he has forged such a relationship with the voters that they call themselves the Rob Mob. He's personable, he's relatable, he's working class, which, believe me, I am so working class, it's not even funny. I'm one of 7 children. Oh, look, there's the whole Rob Mob appearing. There they all are. But I was going to say that no one laughs harder when I'm called liberal Hollywood elite than my 6 brothers and sisters. They so hard because it's so not true. But I know that your agenda is you're running on a platform of revamping our crumbling infrastructure, diversifying Louisiana's economy through new jobs in tech and renewable energy, reinvesting in education, reforming our criminal justice system, and ensuring affordable and accessible health care for all, which is a nice contrast to the Republicans who are trying to take away health care and get another tax break for the top 1%. So, Rob, tell me, you're out in the field, you're talking to your constituents. What's your feeling right now? Is my optimism justified? Is the force with us? How are you doing?
Thank you, Mark, for that, and thank you so much for being here. Finally get to talk to you face to face. Obviously, we're big Twitter fans of each other. I kind of follow in your footsteps. How you outreach to your people is, I do take that as an example. People really react to that interpersonal connection, and that really holds true in politics. I listen to people, and I let them tell me their stories. So no, your optimism is not misplaced. Even down here, people are starting to say, well, maybe that Trump guy wasn't such a good idea after all. I don't know. And Biden is, I'm the same model. We're running on decency. You saw a second ago when my wife peeked in to say hello. You've been married 40 years. We just celebrated our 30th anniversary. So we're just running on being decent. I'm a working class guy. I'm a driller who's read a lot of books. And that's why I'm running, to give the people a voice in Washington, D.C. No frills, no extras. I happen to have the benefit of having some quite famous friends, but we're pretty boring people living out in the rural sticks, and it's even trickling down here that something's got to change. We have to grow Louisiana. We have to, as Biden is tagging it, build back better. Infrastructure is the backbone of the United States. We have to invest in ourselves. We can't have economic justice till we have social justice. And that's a big thing we're pushing for here in Louisiana. Our state is 33% African American, and they're not represented because of, old traditions die hard. But we're here as part of the new wave to say that the forward can be, the future can be better. We can have progress. We can have a future. And, when they hear it from one of their own, a former driller, I'm not a lawyer, I'm not a doctor, not to knock those professions. If I want a tooth pulled, I'm not going to a driller. But, to hear one of the working class who wore a hard hat and boots for years to say, your politicians are lying to you. You need you can do better. And that's why I'm here.
Well, I have to say that one of the reasons I'm so anxious to connect with people that are running in very deep red districts is that we have the most divisive president in our history. And ironically, he has united so many people that I never expected to agree with, what I call reasonable Republicans and true independents who realize that this is not normal. And that's what gives me great hope that we can reach those people, because we only have to peel away 4 or 5% of the amount of people that are in the cult of his to prevail. And so I wish you all the best, Rob, as all of the candidates today. And again, thank you for letting me and Mary Lou be a part of this.
And we appreciate it, and the whole team would like to say thank you as well.
I want to see, let's see all the Andersons.
This is my wife, Clarissa.
Hi.
And this is Ash and Claire, and that's Dave. Everybody's got the Rob Mob t-shirts.
I see. I don't have one of those, but
I'd be happy to send you one. 2. I'll send you 2.
I'm not seeing your own personal Rob Mob. I have
that was named by a follower. That's the amazing part. We didn't make it up. It was organic.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's how.
Because you're a real person. You're a relatable person. You're not a politician. I think people relate to that.
Yeah. Is it so obvious? I'm getting better. I really am.
Yeah. Are you? Well, don't get too polished. And, that's the thing. These people get into office and they forget about where they came from. They're unrecognizable after 10, 15, 20 years in office. It's a shame, but...
right, and then that's never going to happen to me, as you can see.
That's wonderful to hear. And nice meeting all of you Andersons.
Thank you.
Now, Mark, I just want to say thank you very much. Huge fan. I will tell you that when I was a child, I found out that you and I shared the same birthday, and I used that to be cool. So that was awesome. So now what I want to do is I want to basically just state, everybody has heard, from you amazing celebrities, and we appreciate you. And, how can you help No Dim Left Behind? Because the truth is that our candidates are not on the red to blue list. There's all kinds of support out there for candidates that are running, but most of the time, like I said, when people hear rural Democrat, they turn off the knob. So our guys are actually in red rural districts picking a fight. So how can you help us? You can help us by speaking to other folks that you know, other celebrities, and let them know that there are people out there that are fighting to flip red seats blue. Because if we're not going to fight in these districts, they will never flip blue. So I appreciate you guys, and I appreciate everything that you all have done to come on here and work with our candidates. For the people that are listening and watching out here, how can you guys help? Let me tell you something. In rural districts, $3 is a campaign sign. And that campaign sign might be the thing that someone sees that says, you know what, hey, who's that Devin Pandy guy? And then they research, because I believe that if you research our candidates at No Dim Left Behind, you are going to like what you see. We have the first female transgender Democratic nominee in the history of this country. And let me tell you something, Mia is also an infantryman. Let me tell you something. We have amazing candidates. And if you give them the opportunity to hear what they say, you're going to like what you hear. So thank you. On behalf of No Dim Left Behind, I apologize because we had a power outage. We had all kinds of hiccups in the beginning, but I think that this was a huge success. I am forever grateful, as is our candidates. Forever grateful for the time that each and every one of you all have put forth to give us a voice, to allow us to be heard. And thank you. Sappers clear the way, airborne all the way.
Great.
Thank you.
I am Natalie Klein, and I know West Virginia. I know our values, and I know how to return us to our West Virginia roots. I decided to run for Congress because I want my son's generation to have the opportunity to stay in West Virginia. Our children have been robbed of their childhoods. Over 10% of our kids are living with their grandparents, and over 7,000 are in foster care. And they are the biggest victims of corporate greed. Every representative at every level in the state has failed them. I will fight every single day for policies that will keep our babies close to home, policies that will keep our grandbabies close to home. And I will lead this district by being that person who will not sell her soul to the richest lobbyist. I have not taken
My vision for our future is centered around improving the quality of life for all American citizens. This means protecting Social Security, health care, the rights of women, veterans care, increasing disability benefits, making improvements to our infrastructure and our educational system. Right now, Americans need good-paying jobs, sustainable agricultural development, and green solutions for a stronger, cleaner, and safer environment for everyone to enjoy. Together, we will chart a new path forward. I'm Alan Ellison, and I approve this message.
It was the worst day on Wall Street since the crash of 1987.
This is the only world I've ever known.
This could be the most serious recession in decades.
A system on the brink of collapse. But I'm getting ahead of myself.
A little bit of a history lesson, because during the Depression, the Glass-Steagall Act was introduced to split up banks and brokers. 10 years ago today, that act was repealed, a move that some now blame for the financial collapse.
That was the moment when these failing companies came to my parents and my neighbors and begged them to become investors and save them. And we did.
And that means life, as most Americans know it, is about to change, in some cases dramatically.
Now, I was one of the lucky ones. My dad didn't lose his job, and we weren't one of the millions that lost their homes or life savings. But as the years passed, I watched as we all started to accept that this is just how things were now. That money would be tight, and that more of us would live paycheck to paycheck as we saved more for college and paid more for our trips to the doctor, and we just held on. I watched my dad become a diabetic and the cost of insulin skyrocket. I watched as my friends lost their jobs and their health insurance when the companies they had worked at for 20 years moved their jobs overseas. In that time, I graduated college. I paid off my student loans. I started my first company with $3,000 in my pocket. And 2 years later, I started another one. And I became a member of the first generation that will not do better than their parents. And this whole time, I watched as the companies that my family and my neighbors had invested in, they got back on their feet, and they did better than ever. And we were left behind. And the more I watched, the more I started to realize that these things can be different. That every dollar we invested then, it's now worth so much more than we realize. It's worth enough to cover the extra cost of college. It's worth enough to cover everyone's cancer treatment. It's worth more than enough to make sure that no new mom has to worry about paying for someone to watch their kids while they go to work. And it's enough to cover all of the predatory loans that have been stopping entire generations from buying a home. What I understand now is that we've already paid for all of these things. Most investors, they expect to get their money back after 5 years. And we've spent 12 watching and waiting and hoping. And now, it's time. It's time that we demand the return on our investment. I'm Adam Christensen, and I believe that one's economic value does not equal their human worth. I'm running for Congress. In this campaign, it's for the many, not just me.
Hi, I'm Blair Walsingham. I'm running for United States Congress in Tennessee's 1st District. We are working hard to get my message out, and we have some really great support from both sides of the aisle. We can flip this district. I could be the first Democratic candidate to win in over a century. But to do that, I need your help to keep spreading the word. You can donate, distribute signs, deliver campaign materials, or support via text and phone banking. We need you. Please visit blairforcongress.com to sign up or donate today.
This is not a drill.
I'm a daughter, a sister, a mother of 4, an Air Force veteran, and an average hardworking American just like you. And as a congressional candidate, I'd like to provide solutions. So today I'm putting my money where my mouth is. I often talk about economic security and financial freedom. I am awarding at least 2 individuals or families the Freedom Grant. And I encourage people daily to get out and talk to people and actually see what's happening out there, and don't just go by what you're seeing on the media.
The time for change is now, and we do that by electing a woman.
You who wants good things and to live a good life and to see people truly thrive, instead of meeting it with head on with anger or aggression back, because hate just feeds more hate. However, we have to address the systemic racism, which is deeply rooted within our cultures. When people are afraid, they react with aggression. They feel like they're in a bad place and it's fight or flight.
So that's a brilliant answer. What is the fear of?
Largely of change.
I mean, there's a give and take to living in rural communities, but there has to be a basic level of dignity for people to survive off of.
This is about Black Lives Matter. This is about a long, systematic problem that has been ingrained through all of the processes of our current society. It's been a vicious cycle that is just right now coming to this peak tipping point. Right. So what we've seen traditionally is they keep cutting the budget for education. And it would seem that everybody would understand that as society as a whole, we would be better off with a better education. And that starts with the elementary school and middle school and high school. It's not just all about college. It needs to start at the younger years. And that means we need to support our schools and our teachers. I'm highly driven by data and information and facts and looking for new solutions instead of repeating and regurgitating the same rhetoric and fighting that we've been doing for so long.
And you're an impressive person, impressive candidate, and I wish you well.
I am happy to share with you guys that Andrew Yang's Humanity Forward has chosen to endorse me.
As a military veteran, something I learned is adapt and overcome. That is how we move forward, and we need to get everybody on board with that. We've got to adapt and overcome so that we can be even better.
My campaign to bring humanity to Tennessee and across America is really gaining momentum, but I can't do it alone. Together, we can move our country forward. Go to blairforcongress.com to contribute today. We can do this together.
Healthcare reform has never felt more important. As a candidate for Congress and a 35-year medical professional, healthcare reform is my top priority. This crisis has brought to the forefront why every American, regardless of race, geography, or socioeconomic status, must have access to the care they need when they need it without fear of crippling debt in the future. In America, healthcare must be affordable and accessible to everyone. As a dentist in Berks County, I know our system is not working for most people. We need a system where healthcare providers compete in the private marketplace for our public dollars. I don't wish to change how we receive our healthcare, just how we pay for it. Also, just as our VA does on behalf of our veterans, we must be negotiating prices for prescription medications for all Americans, because no one should choose between buying food for their family or a life-saving drug. This crisis has shown me that we must be able to be better prepared to take care of each other in our own communities and across the country. Please stay safe, and I promise to work hard to improve healthcare for you and your families.
I'm Tom Palzewicz. I am running in Wisconsin's 5th Congressional District as a Democrat. I know I started my own business 15 years ago, and one of the main factors involved in that was my ability to be able to afford the same kind of health insurance that I had through large corporations. I personally believe healthcare should not be a for-profit industry. I've asked this question to a lot of different groups, and I asked people to raise their hand. How many people are in a job just for the health insurance? And inevitably the hands go up. And I just think this country would be much more productive and actually happier if we decouple the health insurance market from the labor market, because it gives people job portability and mobility. We need to move to a universal health care plan, and we need to move over time. It needs to be phased in. Health insurance isn't the issue. Health costs is the issue. In order for us to lower health care costs, step number one is we need to get everybody covered. We need to take care of people. We're part of this global network when it comes to carbon. And the more that we can reduce, and the more we can talk about it with other people, it puts the idea in people's heads that we're all in this together and we can each do a little part, because little pieces add up to a big piece. And reaching across the aisle, there's nobody that doesn't believe we should have clean air. There's nobody that doesn't believe we should have clean water. The issue really isn't a divide in politics, it's a corruption problem. We're at a point in history right now where if we don't make changes in the next 10 years, our children and our grandchildren are going to have a very difficult time managing the economy, managing the environment. There are going to be huge cities that have potential to be underwater, and there's not enough money to save them. One of the things I think that needs to happen is we need to remove money from the process of getting people elected. It decreases the influence of lobbyists, because sometimes doing the right thing causes disruption in our society. In order to be able to do that, we have to have people that are willing to think about the big picture. One of the things that's happened with gerrymandering and voter suppression is we don't have people who are voting and feeling like their rights matter. And we end up electing people that are basically taking care of their donors versus taking care of their constituents. I believe that government can be efficient and can be effective because it's just an organization like any other organization. If we invest in it to make sure it can actually do what it's supposed to do, we'll get a bigger bang for our buck for our taxpayer dollars.
Progress is needed in Northeast Georgia.
My name is Devin Pandy, and I'm running for United States Congress. When I was an infant, my parents brought me to the United States to earn ourselves a better standard of living, a better way of life. Belize was the home we were born to, but America is the home we chose. I come from a family of patriots. After 21 years of active duty military service, including 5 deployments, and like my father before me, I retired from the United States Army as a chief warrant officer and a wounded warrior. I swore an oath to support and defend the Constitution of the United States and every amendment therein. I believe in the right to bear arms and the wisdom to know when to use them. North Georgia is the home I chose. After being raised in a military family and traveling all over the world, it was the beauty of Northeast Georgia that finally convinced me and my family to settle down. Americans deserve to control their own lives, and Georgians deserve a congressman who is exactly what he says he is and does exactly what he says he will do.
Hello, Athens!
This campaign is about putting people over power.
Y'all mind if I get comfortable?
This campaign is about protecting the beauty, strength, and opportunity of North Georgia. This campaign is about defending its most precious natural resource, you. It's your life. It's your liberty. Let's defend them together. I'm Devin Pandy, and I approve this message.
Mission complete. Not long after, President Trump first signaled the U.S. would abandon our Kurdish allies, the same people who helped my son have a father. So I contacted my Congresswoman, Vicky Hartzler, who I really hope to hear something from your office. But I never did hear anything. We didn't receive a phone call, an email, not so much as a form letter from her office. I'm a 7th-generation Missourian from a hardworking farm family, and I put myself through Harvard Law School. I don't give up. And so I thought I'd go to a town hall meeting. Turns out Congresswoman Hartzler hasn't held a town hall in 5 years. She must have been too busy. It's been almost a decade since Congresswoman Hartzler had to campaign and earn the votes to keep her job. That changes now. I'm Lindsay Simmons, and I'm on a new mission to be the first active-duty military spouse in Congress. And get this, the day after I announced, her office called to apologize for not getting back to me. You shouldn't have to run for Congress to hear from your congressman. Based on their actions over the past month, if President Trump and Congresswoman Hartzler wore the uniform, they'd be court-martialed.
1,000 U.S. troops are caught in the middle looking for the safest...
I'm not the only wife whose husband's third deployment is made less safe by reckless foreign policy. I'm not the only mother who's watched schools on our military base lose funding to build a wall. I'm not the only daughter whose mother hesitates to retire because of the cost of healthcare. And I'm not the only member of a farming family that's collateral damage in a trade war. And I have had enough. I'm answering a call to serve because our families deserve better. It's time to take our home back. And this is a mission we must complete.
Lifting the voice of the people and helping communities and organizations work better to reach their goals. Exactly what Congress desperately needs right now. That's why I'm running as a Democrat for Florida Congressional District 19. To bring the voice of the people of Southwest Florida to Washington. I've got a proven track record in working across party politics and creating strong partnerships. And I'm committed to getting results on the issues we all care about. I will work to craft policy that keeps your family safe, helps to ensure good jobs and strong local businesses, and ensures our beloved Florida environment is clean. I live here and my kids go to school here. I will not sell out my values or our community to enrich big companies, big donors, and the political elite. As a businesswoman, a community organizer, and a mom, I know what it takes to truly work together with people, for people. I'm Cindy Banier, and I approve this message.
In Louisiana, we've been blessed with a wealth of resources such as oil and gas. And these industries are the backbone of Louisiana's economy. To continue growing our state, we need to expand and diversify our energy portfolio. We already have the skilled worker and technology in place that we need to take Louisiana's energy industry into the 21st century. There is no reason that Louisiana shouldn't be leading the nation in energy innovation. Send me to Congress, and I'll fight to keep our state growing.
I'm Ian Mason. I'm running for Congress. Our voters are at the helm in 2020 because our education has failed us. Our infrastructure has failed us. With your driving force, we can fix that, especially in our healthcare, because your vote actually matters and you have the choice in 2020. I'm Ian Mason, and I approve this message.